Hello everybody, my name is Wick, and welcome back to another video. Today, what we're going to be focusing on is the finishing of the outline of my biome so I can see it on the map. And I'm using cobblestone because it's brown, it's very easy to get, or because it's gray, it's very easy to get. If I use something that was brown like dirt, grass would either grow on it, or if I use something like the spruce logs, then I'd be running into a different issue of like telling the brown from the round and with the green. But so I'm using gray because it's a color that you don't really see on maps as often, but it's noticeable enough for me to tell exactly what it is. And so what I have to do is I have to go and I grab lots of cobblestone. I grab my elytra because I go far out, and I have to get a map, and I go on the map that I was last left on. I always make sure it's daytime because it's very hard to make an outline when you have mobs all after you. So usually I'll take a bed with me. But on at this point, I see. I'm looking for the line. You can see where it is, and then I have to punch out where it is, and then you can see where I left off. So once I find out where I've gotten, I'll take it in my offhand, put my shield on the side, and then I'll fly. And eventually, when I get to that area, you'll see you have to be in like a certain amount of chunks. I didn't actually know this, but once you're close enough, then the cursor will pop up on the map. But if you're too far away, it just goes away. And honestly, I thought you could be. I think it's because I'm used to the like the mansions where you could be tens of thousands of blocks away, and then it'll still be on there. So I didn't know that these little maps that you personally make don't do that. So it was an interesting thing to learn. Then you can see I can come down, and this is where the map is. And generally, I'll have to come back for two reasons. Either the map is done and I need a new map because it'll when the reason you have to have the map in your hands is because of the way that the chunks work. It would be if you're in unloaded chunks of the map and you put the map down, it'll save the map how it is. And yeah, that's pretty interesting. But if you're outside the chunks, I have to take the map with me. So if I change something on the map, it'll update. And I feel like that's pretty nice how you can with the update because or the way it updates is because you can. I see people make a lot of like map pixel art, and I think it's really really cool. But this task in itself is kind of really tedious. I kind of play with the border. I'm not actually doing the F3 key and then finding out what is the actual edge of the taiga biome. I just go like what looks good enough for me because it's a decent enough biome, and going in F3 would just give me a headache. Just look at all the extra writing on the screen. So I made my own border, and the people that are next to me, because this is outside my border is Crafty's. I'm sure he won't mind. If I take a little bit of his land, he can just move the border as long as it's seamless. That's fine. Well, unless I flatten the chunks where it is, and then he starts taking it over, then we'll have a problem. No wars though, no wars though. I promise, I promise. I wasn't too sure how to show the progression that I have, so I'll complete a map, I'll put it in, I'll look where the next map is, depending on where the other line is, and I'll go to the next one. Once it's done, I'll complete it, and then I'll take the completed map and I'll put it down, and then I just move on to the next map. And it's pretty tedious. This one I took two because there was the little islands, and when it comes to the islands, you can see that I actually on part of that one we have a little Sicily over there, but you can see on the other maps and the line on it are not the other maps, the little islands. You can see how like the water is more shallow in those areas, so I wanted to open it up a little bit more, and I actually even opened it up on the the main island. And I want to do that again with like on the smaller island. You can see up there how I kind of curved it, and I want to curve it up here too, but I didn't get to that. So I want to make it more like that one, and yeah. I have a little time lapse, so it's for 30 seconds. It's based on it's like 8 times the speed. But like if you watch the map on the left hand, you'll see how I just like it's kind of like how an ant is like crawling. So like I'm here and I'm like doing my little work, and you can see how my character. So like this is much faster than it would be if it was in a forest. In a forest, it's absolutely ridiculous. Like you don't understand. Like all the trees that I have to cut down so that you can see the gray line. Otherwise, it's just gonna be covered by trees, and then you won't even see the line. Back to placing maps and taking more, placing the ones that I did. This is so tedious that and so long journey. Like I did like a quarter of the map. I accidentally did this with a door. You ever get like sidetracked and then like because you're just doing something? I can break through this door. This door is now my number one priority. I am just like so bored. My goal is to get through this door. So I tried to fly through it, and it didn't necessarily work. So I thought, maybe if I squeeze a little bit, maybe I can get through this door. And that didn't seem to work either. Um, I ended up taking down, and I wanted to. I like you can see how I can place and like I can things can go through the door. My fist can place and break things through the door. So I thought, maybe there's just some way I can go to the door. I was a little mesmerized by the way that the thing was. Like you can see how there's no top texture for the middle half of the door, and I didn't actually look at the bottom top half, but I'm pretty sure it's the same. So I ended up making a doorway in the back of my house because I want to keep that door as long as possible, just looking like that. So I got some paintings and I put them through, and it's the same painting on both sides, but going through, it's like a nice little secret door. But that way mobs don't just think they can walk in. And another side task I started doing while I ran out of ideas and what to do with that door, so I just made another door, is the llamas. Like I realized that I can tame a llama, but it wasn't until I just like started jumping on llamas that they started kicking me off, and I was like, oh, that's right, I have to tame all of these. So every time I tamed a llama, I just gave it like one little carpet, and then I just that became tedious. And I came up with another idea. So I remember the trapdoors, and with the trapdoors, they push your character down. So I thought maybe I can force crawl instead of like spam flying, like trying to glitch through something. So I wanted to use the trapdoors, and I wanted to carefully go through the door. And this was a terrible first direction to come through because I didn't realize this, but uh, yeah, I just made myself stuck. So I had to go to the other side. Be a little smarter with this. And as I was crawling through, I realized that I've seen this. This is the same resistance you get with ghost blocks. So I've seen that pushback pattern when you're trying to go forward all the time, and I was really trying it. But that gave me another idea. The Ender Pearl. I threw it, and it didn't work. So I had one last final idea. If I could log off and log back on, the door was not there. It was not there, and I was so upset. To give myself a little bit of a break before I finish the last quarter of my map and the outline of it, I decided that I want to get some leather skeleton skulls and get another beacon because you can't have too many of those. So I modified the fortress that we have a little bit on some of the layers, and so you can see it's a lot more open because I really opened it up. And then I started placing some cobblestone. This is so that if you get chased by a wither skeleton, you can get in the corner and then they can't hit you, but you can hit them. It's one of those kinds of deals. So that's what I was doing, and I actually couldn't get I didn't get any skulls, but somebody else did.
Hello.
Hello. I've
I
just
see. This is what you meant by renovations.
yes, I've opened stuff up. So this whole like section, like see why the chest is right here? It's because like behind it used to be a wall, and then I chucked it out, and then that's also why this is kind of messed up here too. But yeah, I'm just like flattening, which gives more surface area for the fortress, which allows more wither skeletons to spawn.
Okay, but now how do you get them to spawn?
Um, Walking out and reloading chunks. Doo-doo.
On it.
Come to think of
Yeah,
it,
I already got the
I
supplies to do it.
still don't even think. Yeah, I don't even have spooky, scary skeletons.
Oh, here.
Yeah. It is time for me to finally change my settings back. It has been so long that I now play even worse than the time that I even started in the first place. You'll notice I can't function. I sit for a moment, walk back, walk forward, and my mouse is all over the place every time I go to look at something. I do not know what I'm doing anymore. Oh, and while I mentioned about the whole fortress thing, for some reason I didn't record the whole thing. I went to the end and I killed the wither. I did it under the bedrock by the pole thing. And another thing about Cal is it was a Vapor ended up getting back on, and I think his name is Dan came on, and we were talking for hours, and yeah, uh, we were talking, and so I wanted to not include some of the things in the conversation, so I took most of the conversation out.
This first song is called A World on Fire. This next song is a little bit longer than that one. And thank you. It's about how sad I am, and I'm really sad, and it's called Sad. It's about all the sad stuff. Just picture a depressed onion cutting itself. I met a homeless man named Rich. Isn't that terrible? I saw a flyer for a lost dog, and the dog didn't have any legs. I saw a diabetic kid trick-or-treating. I saw a giraffe who had a short neck. That was sad. Or a deer. I saw an old man get hit by a train. He didn't see it in the pouring rain. He didn't hear me shout, "Look out for the train!" Because I didn't say anything.
Yeah, so sometimes when I'm playing Minecraft, I listen to random music, and so that's just a little clip that is something that I listen to, and I wanted to I don't know, I just wanted to share that with you guys. But I don't know if it's copyrighted possible. I probably should play like non-copyrighted music song, or at least look at what's copyrighted and not, which is why I played a short bit at the very beginning of the song rather than an entire song or something like in the background or something. Or probably play a more decent moral song in the background if I'm going to do a whole song, as well as it not being copyrighted. But I mean, if it is copyrighted, then I'll just take that part out. If not, well, then I guess it stays in. Woo! And now finally going back to the original tasks of we're gonna finish this. Placing in maps, it's gonna go up to the high north, and then it's gonna come right back at the southwest down to where my farm is. That's where it's gonna end. So I ended up losing one of my maps because I actually have so many maps. Because if you don't know, I actually messed with the map. I explained to Cal what I did, so you can watch in the previous video. Because I just know that I have a lot of maps. So if I lose a map, there there's way too many for me to just there's just so many. But apart from that, continuing on from finding the final maps and then continuing from this point on, there's about 3 maps left. And I just had to just put it in, put it down, take the next one, take it out, put it in, and all that. But by the time I actually got finished, this is the last bit. You can kind of see it's my sugarcane farm. You see chests and torch. So at you know there's my farm. And I didn't want to actually go over the farm because I didn't want to interrupt the crops, even though there's streams in it. I just don't want it to offset the look. So at least I know, because all this place is flattened out anyways, so I should know that without a border, this is where it is. And so by putting in that last map that I have, boom, and then I can just pick this one up and then it should just refresh. Finding these maps by their item frame is actually a little difficult, but you can see in the little corner there it's all saved. So now I have a full unit of my entire biome finally outlined. So we're going to do a little trapping pale. Goes around by this dark forest, and then it goes into a normal forest. And you can tell, like, when looking at the trees, you can't tell the difference between the spruce and the oak. That's the reason why I had to do this. Otherwise, I would have just been, like, consumed everything. And then it starts getting into swamp. You can at least tell what the swamp looks like. But this is Crafty's base. This is, like, mine and Crafty's border. I made the border, so if he's got a problem, oof. There's more little islands going up by the mountainside, and eventually comes back down to another forest, and it goes up again into like little mountains again, but then it starts to come back. And we have two villagers that are nearby, but it comes back into my original base. So now, from a high point stand view, trying to look at it because it's so thin, it's actually so hard you can't really see the border like this. Oops. But at least you can tell where I've cut off that flattening edge. So I'm gonna do that once in a while as my biome flattens. That's my wood chest, and then there's some dirt stuff. And you'll notice that I just have chests. I have chests everywhere. And I'm gonna have like I'm trying to make a new storage space sort of. It's no like not redstone, it's still chests, but it's like chests with shulkers in them to save space rather. So and that's how I'm just gonna try and do it because I mean think about it, like when you're flattening out, you have so much cobblestone, you have so much dirt, and you just need to put it somewhere. So where it goes beyond that point is just oof. Another thing that I wanted to mention is I still have the Darrot. My Darrot is over, and I gotta give it away. I gotta give it away. I want to give it to Vapor because he was supposed to get it, but unfortunately, I can tell you right now that isn't what happened. I did give the Darrot away, and I did record it. You're gonna see it in a moment. But I'm very glad to see that this next phase of the outline is completed. Now the next phase is doing beacon runs. I'm doing one first like half strip, and then I'm going to be doing like it's going to be huge. So eventually when it's done, I'm going to be going on to bigger maps, but that can't be completed because it's too thin and you can't tell where all the cobblestone are. So I have to wait until I have the biomes flattened before I can start compressing the maps. And that's going to be the next big phase for the biome. I like how it's my base, but my base is the biome, so I'm constructing it all just as the biome as a whole. Hopefully it looks nice when it's done though. Each time I do this, I have to break down the beacon, then I have to set up the new beacon. From the point that the beacon is standing, I have to find out 50 blocks in a direction because the radius of the beacon is 50 blocks, and then I have to find closest to those 50 blocks the chunk borders of where it'll go. So you can see that it's close to this line, and because of that, I'm going to have to go on to the next step, which is cutting down all the trees. Once all those trees are cut, I can start to make sure that the leaf decay is okay, and if there's anything that I need to pick up, I can try and pick it up. But beyond that, I go into the next phase, which is starting to level it down until it's at its base 0, or or at least with the water level, which is 63. Once that is all down, I just have to pick up the remaining blocks, and now that everything's on Y63, I get to look around, and the next step is to take all that stone, keep all the grass and the dirt, but to take all the stone and then and then fill it with dirt. That way it's only the grass that will show, and by placing dirt, the grass will overgrow onto where the rest of it is. Sometimes this happens once in a while where you find a little cave, and then all you have to do for that is to just kind of fill it up. Take some random stones that you'd like, or if you don't want to use your precious stone, you can open up the diorite, andesite, granite, just something to fill in the space. And the reason why you want to fill in the space is for purpose reasons of mob spawning. You don't want mobs to spawn down in the area, especially as you're overthrowing them, because um, I don't. Sometimes, like, if something doesn't despawn, then it becomes an issue, and then you can't tell where it is because everything looks the same. So all you have to be doing is like following the sound, what the zombie sounds like, or usually it's the zombies, or But just kind of flatten it out, and then make sure that you go to the second to last layer when filling it up, because that final top layer is just going to be dirt. And it's going to look as if nothing was under there, because even though you just kind of slabbed a bunch of whatever there, you're not going to see it, because what it's supposed to be there is all the dirt you're supposed to be looking at. So to have that like that, then it's as if it was always full, there was no cave there. But sometimes it gets a little tricky. So like I said, you've noticed that we've taken out all the dirt, or all the stone, and all you have to do is fill in the chunks of just the dirt. So it's just replacing. It's just simple. When it comes to areas that you know are absolutely way too big, the mobs will probably be so far down there that you probably don't have to worry about them. So I personally, instead of filling it up, because that would be a lot more stone than you probably have unless you've been doing a lot more chunks. So if you just catch this in the first eye, you can either ignore it and then fill it up. But some caves in Minecraft are just so full, and I don't really know what the depth level is to just stop mobs spawning. So if you just want to cover it up and pretend it never was there, that's perfectly fine, I guess. I mean, I do that, and I don't really run into that many issues. But the smaller caves are usually issues, because those are ones that could have been easily fixed. But other than that, just cover it up. It's never there. So once you fill in that final layer of dirt, I mean, you can either use Silk Touch on grass from the beginning and then just move it to the bottom if you rather do it like that. But personally, I don't care. I don't mind doing all the waiting for the grass to grow, but the way it affects is when you update your maps, it'll show. But as soon as I'm done with something, this was a 3x4 chunk, so that's 12 chunks that I just opened up. But you can see that there's that brown dirt, and that doesn't really move until something gets done, or until the grass grows over it. But there does come a certain distance where you actually have to start walking over to it. Eventually, it's going to come to a point where I'm going to start having to fly over to it, but until it gets to that point, I'm not really going to worry about it too much. Since I did 12 chunks, depending on how high the mountains are, there's usually doing a small shift like this, where it's the quarter way. The 12 chunks took me about an hour and a half, so this is very time consuming, but there's only so many times I have to do it before it starts to get really nice. But eventually, this is just going to be a longer project, and eventually I'll be getting my biome. The only thing that I'll be doing is I'll be making like a direct, strict staircase, 1x staircase to when I get to the borders of other biomes. That way it isn't like it's their biome and then all of a sudden it just plummets onto my flat biome. So I'm going to actually make a 1x direct staircase to their other biome, and that's going to be the biome blend. So I did think of that. Sometimes I might have to do a little bit of terraforming, but we'll see how it turns out. I also have to remember that in between each time I do one of these, I'm going to have to repair all my tools, so which doesn't take too long, considering this XP farm is absolutely amazing.
Level is going to be a different form.
I was gonna give you the Darrot, but you don't record videos.
Paper doesn't really either, and I'm still playing in
He
with the dare.
still makes more videos than you.
So who cares? Who cares about content?
I think it's funny, and like if I gave you a dare and I wanted to see it, you know,
Oh, that poor
if I
boy.
if I wanted to see something, I would most likely have a challenge. Challenges aren't necessarily dares, though.
Well, you can give me the dare if you'd like, because it is a game of truth or dare. So just remember that.
Okay, I don't think you're gonna take a truth, and I don't even know what that means. Do I just ask you something that you have to be honest about?
Yes.
terrible.
So Cal made it so that hard truths were worth 3 points. So I'm like, well, that's easy. I'll just take a hard truth in every single one. I'm an
Is
open
that
book.
is that even a thing?
That is a come on. I'll show you.
Did somebody did somebody change this?
You can do an easy truth slash dare for 1 point, or a hard truth slash dare.
That doesn't even what?
Yeah, so you don't have to do a dare.
A hard truth. No matter what, it's still honesty. This thing is now rigged.
So you don't have to do a truth, and that's the whole thing I've been saying is that if anybody gives me the dare, I'm not doing a dare.
All right.
I choose,
There's
I'm choosing my truth.
here.
Are you gonna give me the dare?
I need a box. There's one in the candle shop.
Are you actually about to give an ender chest? You mean?
Yeah, I have it.
Are you recording?
I've been recording for the past 4 hours.
The thing is that what are you gonna ask me? Because it's you, and you know everything about me.
Exactly. Whatever gets you 3 points, right?
Whatever. Yeah, this is gonna be the easiest 3 points I've ever done. All right, listening.
I'm trying to think. So, like, is there a way you could get it wrong?
No,
Nah,
it's about.
that doesn't. That's why it's rigged, though. So with a dare, you can choose not to do it. I mean that.
I could choose not to tell you. You just have to make something that like I might possibly be uncomfortable with being on the internet. But at the same time, with that, you have to make sure it's PG enough to be on a math.
That's why it's rigged. We both don't have a filter.
Right, like you ask me a question, I'll probably you can ask me what my kinks are, and I will legitimately tell you.
That's
Keep in
something
mind,
I'm not posting.
the thing is, the problem with that though is the fact that I'm asexual, so I don't have
Here.
any. This is I can't wait to type in the Omathacraft chat. I now have the dare. And Cal's like, wait, what?
Here, I threw it.
Oh, the dare 2 point. All right, I'm eat it. Game's over.
I almost did that if you've seen me do it.
Okay. Whenever you're in.
A hard truth.
Yes.
Is that what you're? Yeah. So that's what you're doing.
Yep.
Hmm. 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 I honestly don't know what I hit. Like, so the thing is, I'm trying to make it tricky, but the problem is, if I even try and make it tricky, I should already know the answer. Like, if I asked you who's your favorite Omathacraft person, I guarantee it would be me.
uh, played the fifth on that one.
You've played that. Hold on. I'm not your favorite.
I didn't say that. It's just I can't choose just one. See, because
But like, who would honestly be your number one?
is that the question that you're gonna choose?
I mean, I guess. It's either got to be like me or Cal. And you've actually known Cal longer for Omathacraft. You just know me personally in life.
That's a really hard choice. This is worth more than 3 points in my opinion. I'm about to start a fight with my answer, and I don't even know. Oh my god.
It comes down to me or Cal. Who's your favorite on Omathacraft?
Neither.
No, no, no. Honestly, the truth
I
is, you can just take a -1. I think, right? Is that what it says?
no, it's -3.
It's no. I think it's -1 if you choose not to. Let's go
See,
back
that's
to
the
it.
thing. I'm not gonna choose to take the minus because I'm going to answer it. I just need to figure out what my answer is. Yes,
You may pass and get one, -1.
last season, if you passed the hard, then you got in -3. No, I'm choosing Cal.
Cal's your favorite?
I'm choosing Cal for two reasons. One, we are Bow, and two, Unlike you, he's not making me choose. So, cow.
Wow.
That's my answer. Sorry.